Hey guys, this is Elhain. This is going to be another Raid Shadow Legends video and a special one. We've got the one, the only, Ash. Ash, how you doing, buddy?
Hell Hades! What's up, man? Thanks for having me on. I'm doing great. How about you?
Yeah, really good. Look, thanks for coming on. I think it's been so long since you've been on my channel. I know we've collabed maybe a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, Ash said to me, do you want to come and do a video on his channel, which we've just recorded, and it's going to go out a similar sort of time. So I'll link that at the end of this video. But I was like, dude, let's do one of mine as well, because there's plenty of stuff to talk about.
I felt like we could have just kept going with that conversation too, but this is an exciting topic as well.
Yeah, so I mean, for those that want to check out that video, we talked about some of the issues with the arena and a bunch of other kind of core issues with Raid, but we're really honed in on the arena point. So as I say, I'll link that at the end and you guys can go and catch that because it's a really good, just a good chat. We tried to keep it pretty light, but you know what these things are like.
You know how it is.
So look, guys, what we're going to talk about today, we want to talk about the champions that have gained the most value. So basically, there's been a lot of new content in the game. Players have been mixing stuff up, and we've seen some champions that were already in the game really kind of soar to the top and become on the most wanted list. So we're just going to do a bit of back and forth, calling out some of our champions, which we really feel have kind of come to the forefront. And I guess really, Ash, you know, where would you play them? Where have you seen them being played? And why do you think they've kind of grown in stature?
100%, man. I'm excited to do this. And we only picked one legendary each too, so.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah. So we tried to pick fairly obtainable champions, but you know what the game's like. Right, do you want to kick us off with your first one?
Of course, man. Yeah. I'm going to go with Drexstar Blood Twin, a champion that he's my legendary choice. And I think that most people watching right now can probably relate that this dude is a machine, especially with Nether Spider, who I personally think, I know that most people, I don't know about you, but most people on my channel at least, they tell me that the Scarab King is their most difficult boss, right? But for me, I hate the Nether Spider. There's something about Nether Spider, it really annoys me. So thank God I have Drexstar to do all my damage like an insane beast that he is, you know? So, I mean, what more do I need to say other than just he is all you need is him for your DPS, and he's defense-based, so he stays alive. It's perfect.
Yeah, and he's also just a great spider tank. Yeah, normal spider. The amount of people that come on my stream and they just struggle with Spider 19, Spider 20, it's just such hard content. And this guy comes in and just tanks up those spiderlings. And while he's taking the hits, he's got this passive that just burns the people that hit him. So next time they move, they're going to burn everything. I actually feel like he was a really good addition to the Bazaar. You know,
I agree. I agree 100%. And I think that, you know, the Bazaar, to make Tag Team Arena a little bit more appealing, other than adding auto through every battle, which annoys the heck out of me, right? I mean, please let us auto through, man. You look down, it's been 5 minutes. You're like, crap, I forgot that I was on battle number 2. But I love that they added the fragment. I wish they would add more fragments to the Bazaar, not to be greedy about it, but it was amazing. And it makes Tag Team Arena a little bit more viable, right?
Yeah, I wish they would let people just buy multiple fragments as well. If people have got the fragments and they're saving them, just let them spend them. Why? What's the cooldown? I don't get it.
Yeah, well, I know there's people out there sitting on 95 fragments of a champion. They're like, come on, Plarium. Just waiting for that day that they probably throw it in the shop, not the Bazaar. But anyway, going on a tangent here. But I have to say that to your point on Spider 2, they announced that they're going to be adding 5 levels to all the dungeons and the keeps. So I have a hunch that he'll be a lot more important to even people who are not using him right now on Spider, right?
Yeah,
as those, depending on the affinity of those extra Spider, actually it doesn't even matter really. You know, he's going to be good no matter what. So yeah,
the other thing to call out as well, which people probably don't see as one of his main abilities, but his aura, right? The amount of people that struggle with accuracy for Doom Tower especially, or if you're earlier game and you manage to pull him through either shards or through getting him through the Bazaar, you know, in a reasonable amount of time, his 70 accuracy in all battles is actually pretty clutch for building your teams. So yeah, a lot going from, I think.
It's one of the higher ones. I want to say it's top 3 all battles accuracy. And I agree with you 100%. When I started my free-to-play account, that was huge for me. Having an accuracy aura for somebody who's not end game with a max Great Hall, that's really, really incredible. So good point there.
Cool. Right. Well, I'm going to kick off with my legendary then.
Okay.
And I mean, it's a bit obvious, but I need to say it. I feel like even though she was already great, she's gained even more value. Scyl of the Drakes.
Love Scyl.
Oh man, what a good champion. What a good champion this is. And the main reason for me is just the control she brings. So double chance to stun on her A2, and actually probably equally as important is this decreased speed A1. You know, this ability to throw a decreased speed on some of the harder bosses for Doom Tower. She comes into a lot of people's teams throughout the game. And as they've added more content, I just feel like there's more places that she can play. You know, and if you're going to throw books into someone, she feels like a good candidate for that. If you've got people falling over, she can pick them up. She's got this kind of passive heal ability, which just keeps you topped up. You're going to take a lot of damage throughout, you know, the Doom Tower waves, throughout all of the dungeon keeps. I just feel like there's not really, maybe Clan Boss is the only place where I wouldn't play her. What do you think?
I think that Scyl of the Drakes being added to the game as a daily login reward is honestly one of the best things that, and I'm not being hyperbolic here, one of the best things that Plarium has done in the last year plus whatever, about a year ago, right? Yeah. But yeah, I agree. She's my favorite champion in the game, Hades. I think that she's incredible. And it's almost like one of those things, some people, when something's free, you don't value it as much, you know? And I feel like Scyl of the Drakes, it just, yeah, she's like a top tier champion in my opinion in the game, you know, and not many people can revive, stun, and I'm glad you mentioned the decreased speed on the A1 because that's so clutch. It was such a good champion, Yeah,
no, awesome, man. Look, give us your next one.
All right, we went legendary on the first one. Let's go with maybe an obvious one, but an uncommon one and let's go with Armiger, man. Armiger to me is the best uncommon in the game. Is it even close? I guess Shield Guard maybe in the conversation, but there's really no one that can have end game viability like Armiger. Armiger in Destroy for Scarab King is definitely someone I lean on. And I mean, for an uncommon to have that much value, the turn meter decrease, the deny revival, and just doing a decent amount of damage on his lay on hands, I believe his A2 is just special and really, really cool. And it just leaves you with this feeling like, you know, not to be glass half empty about it. Like here I am talking about a great uncommon, but it's like, why don't they have more awesome uncommon champions? Why don't they give us, you know, at least one or two a year, like Armiger type uncommon champions? Because they're so much fun. They're easy to upgrade. It's a nice break and can actually use them in the end game. Do you use Armiger?
I do. I genuinely, in my like highest level teams in Doom Tower, he's in there. For the Scarab King, he's in there. I actually use him against the Nether Spider as well. As a kind of, because the thing with Nether Spider is you take a big hit for dropping turn meter. So he does kind of like a slow and steady. I'll keep it at bay without doing like a big Coldheart, you know, taking it down to 0. So... you know what? They've released a lot of champions with a turn meter reduction A1 recently. But the champions come in with like, I'm going to reduce it by 3%. Or, you know, it's like, what is the point? Why would you choose to build them when you've got Armiger sitting here smacking down 30% of the turn meter all the time? It's just, he's so good.
He is so good. And so good. I called it lay on hands or something. Lay to rest. Lay to rest. But yeah, man. And you know, like everything that you need, especially in a squishier champion, he's defense based, so he's easy to build, so he doesn't die. He's got it all. And just a really unique and special champion whose value only went up again with Doom Towers. So that's my second champion.
He's also got block revive, which so on his later rest, you know, if you're struggling with the Frost Spider as well, or Ice Golem. Yep. It's like just another thing in his kit, which people don't even realize because so much else is going on. But something else in his kit where it's just like, you know, this dude, he's stacked. He's stacked with stuff which is useful. Right? Everything he's got is useful. Everything.
For a champion with 2 abilities, he's bringing a lot to the table, man. He's bringing a lot to the table. So
100%.
Yeah, he's a really cool champion. Who's your number 2?
Okay, so we're going to go with, I think I'm going to go with one of the newer champions that have come in actually, but I think really jumped to the forefront for me. So I'm going to go with Deacon Armstrong.
Ooh.
Now, yeah, in terms of has he risen in value? Well, I'll tell you what, he's just come into the game, and I feel like he's coming to the game in quite a special place because he can come in and literally play anywhere in the game. He's one of the most versatile champions I've seen come in with his kit. He's got decreased defense. He can actually boost your turn meter, decrease the enemy's turn meter, get another turn, and then drop defense. basically in one turn. And he's also one of the few champions that if you book his a 3 down, because he gets an extra turn after it, he's basically got a 2-turn cooldown on a turn meter fill and an enemy turn meter decrease, which is huge. Turn meter is king in this game, and he manipulates it really well. So, I've seen people throw him in stun sets. I've seen people throw him in relentless sets. I've got mine actually in my clan boss team, in an unkillable team, doing like 1 keys. I think he's a really cool addition to the game. And as I say, I feel like you can play him literally anywhere in the game.
Yeah, I mean, I agree 100%. You ever have one of those epic champions that everybody seems to have and just rants and raves about, and you just can't pull them?
Is this same for you?
That's my Deacon Armstrong, man. Like all my shard opening videos, I'm like, just give me Deacon.
Yeah.
I think he's really, really good, man. I think he's really good for all the reasons that you said. I think it was Seeker who kind of taught me early on in this game that any good ability that grants an extra turn is just like something to look out for in terms of a really, really potential for an amazing champion. Because to your point, you're almost getting like you are getting an immediate cooldown reduction on all other skills as well. So that on top of a really good kit overall with a decreased defense and his base stats are solid. The base speed is 100. I think the Deacon Armstrong is one of the better additions, and they've had a lot of good additions in Epic Champions.
Yeah.
And he's one of the best they've released. Very cool champion.
Cool. All right, hit us with your next one.
Yeah, I know you're a big fan of this this oldie here in the game. I think an OG champion in Reliquary Tender.
Yes.
I am as well. I know that because I think you might have been like one of the first people who turned me on to Reliquary, because you always had a rank so high on your tier list. This is way back in the day, and way back in the day, like a year and a half ago, but whatever, like way back in 2019. But you always had her, like, if I remember correctly, like top 2 or 3 on your tier list. And I remember not other content creators or websites or whatever had her that high. And I kind of dragged my feet on maxing her out, on actually building her. And when I did, especially now, as somebody who spends on my main account quite a bit in this game, I still use her a lot, and she's great to use for YouTube videos, just giving you like kind of a rare option, but she's really, really good, especially with all the cleansing that you need in Doom Tower, removing all debuffs from all allies and the continuous heal on a 3-turn cooldown. Forget about being a rare champion, just any champion. It's a really solid ability. And then having the revival just boosts her up into, there's no rare champion in the game who does what Reliquary Tender does. And there's not many epics or legendaries, truthfully, who are as effective as she is. And she has a decreased attack on her A1. Granted, it's the weak version, but for early game players, it's a little nice addition as well. Her speed is there at 103. I use her in Doom Tower, and I imagine a lot of people do. So Reliquary.
Yeah, funny actually, when they so-called fixed the Doom Tower bosses so that they basically made all of them work. They made them all activate their abilities. There wasn't any kind of like gimmick easy wins. I feel like she shot up again. Like, against Never Spider, you called it out earlier. It's actually the one that I find the most difficult as well. In terms of like showing different team variations that people could use, and try and beat this boss with rares, epics that people might have. And Reliquary Tender just keeps popping up as someone that you need in that team because of the cleanse.
Right?
She cleanses, but she doesn't hit, because you've got champions that maybe do the cleanse, but they do it through an offensive move. But that doesn't work, because the spiderlings will start coming at you. And 100%. Actually, I totally agree, man. She's such a good champ.
Yeah, Nether Spider, I've just taken to, I'm not sure if you've done this with any teams, but I just go the slow route. Like, I just go with 3 cleansers on the team, and I'm just like, okay, I'll see you in 15 minutes or whatever it is, So Reliquary Tender is one of those, and I'm just a big fan of that champion.
Nice. Well, look, I'm gonna go with another rare then. So this is probably a bit of an obvious one.
Yeah.
But you can't ever talk about these type of lists without talking about Coldheart. And even though she was already high value, she was already probably the most wanted rare in the game, probably wanted more than a lot of epics in the game. I feel with Doom Tower and the recent content and the kind of shift in the game, she becomes even more valuable. And then they fix her A1 on Fire Knight so that she's the only champion with a fixed AI on Fire Knight that will do an ability to break the shield on purpose. No other champion does it. Every other champion will just continue to do stupid stuff into that shield, and you're like, oh, what are you doing that for? Save it. And she's like, no, I'm saving it. She's got the biggest brain in Raid.
Great choice, man. I mean, when they fix that, it sounds like they'll be giving us like the custom, we get to choose the ability, or I can't wait for that. But I don't know if this is a controversial statement or not, but I don't think there's many, if any, champions that one could advocate building more than one of than Coldheart, I mean, just such a tremendous champion. And you're right. I mean, even after they nerfed the max HP damage on Doom Tower bosses, she's still used in almost every, against almost every Doom Tower boss. And certainly the best, like SS tier Fire Knight champion, to your point, Spider champion as well. So yeah, Coldheart's amazing.
Yeah, and actually in the recent video that Raid just dropped, she's I think she was one of the most used champions on Fire Knight and Spider in the game. So kind of shows her class. Yeah, shows her class. And
going back to the point I made about Armiger too, it's like, why can't they add more rare champions like that, right? It feels like Coldheart is just like another level. Coldheart, Apothecary, Reliquary Tender, a few other champions too, but it feels like there's always been the same cast of characters, if you will, in rares for the most part. Like we got Frozen Banshee, but not a lot. The thing is, not a lot, right?
When you pull a Void, Voids have got this kind of premium in the game. That's the way they built them. When you pull a Void, you want something like this. You want to be like, yes, I've got myself a really good Void rare. So Void rare or Void epic, and definitely Void legendary. If you get Void Legendary, you should be like, wow, this champion is going to change my game.
100%.
I feel like there's too few like that, but Coldheart definitely is one of those ones.
Like Vizix or Whirling Frosting, right? Like those champions, right? Yeah, that's what you're talking
about. They're the ones, Yeah,
I get so excited when I pulled the new Vizix. It was so cool.
Vizix,
but I think that it's a great point. And you know what? We know this Void rebalancing is coming in the next month or two. And to me, maybe they don't need to add new OP, rare champions. Maybe they just need to make some of the Voids better, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I agree with that. And I mean, have they said it's just Voids as a rebalance, or?
Yeah. I mean, who knows? But that's what they kind of hinted at.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And they said a lot of buffs coming too, so we'll see.
Yeah, nice. No, I'm looking forward to that. That's actually something I'm quite keen on. That's something which I think would be a big game changer. It's always fun when you get to try out champions that have just been sitting in your vault, and all of a sudden they kind of make them work, right?
Absolutely. There's so many, it feels like lackluster Voids out there, especially rares, but even, I guess every rarity. My next is going to be Doom Priest, a champion that I had vaulted for so long. And everybody in my comments, everybody basically just like, yeah, Doom Priest is amazing. And now I finally, right before Doom Tower was released, I maxed her out, and really happy to do so. I mean, Doom Priest is used on, not just my teams and my clanmates teams, but some of the fastest and best teams on all the world record runs in the game, especially, again, Nether Spider as well. So Doom Priest, just a really, really unique champion with the removing a random debuff from the start of this champion's turn. What better passive is there in the game than the heal and debuff removal? Right?
Yeah, so I mean, she was already good, because when you're up against an affinity clan boss, she was kind of like the go-to. When the clan boss changes affinity, she's your go-to to clean off the decreased speeds, to clean off the decreased accuracies, all of those debuffs that land that you can't deal with. You have her go in so that she goes straight after the clan boss, she cleans them all off your team, and it's as if you're on a Void affinity again. So she was kind of like, she had a niche spot there. But I think you're right. As soon as Doom Tower landed, and you're just getting waves of debuffs hitting us, you've got, you could use her anywhere.
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, you look at her kit, and this is why I think I hesitated so long. Is you look at the A1, the A2, and you're just like, oh, that's it. Like,
yeah, definitely.
Increase attack. That's all you got for me. But that passive is just so strong, especially Doom Tower, and I'm sure a lot of your viewers will resonate with that. And I think a lot of the champions that I mentioned on my list, at least, probably yours too, are so good in Relentless gear if people have it too. I run Reliquary Tender in Relentless, and Doom Priest, every turn she gets, she's removing a random debuff, so you can get kind of double value there as well.
Yeah, because you actually don't need any other. You need speed, you need survivability, and then gear set that just trying to make it go as quick as possible. So if you've got Relentless 100%. Half decent gear, then it's easy. She doesn't need accuracy in her kit. She doesn't need the
Shouldn't need
damage that
much.
you need from some people. So,
yeah. She's easy champion to build, which is nice too. And as I'm looking through it here too, wow, it's like old school. She only has what 5 levels of books, 6 levels of books. That's pretty crazy. Not used to that.
But she doesn't need books. She doesn't need any.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's useless.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool that she's just kind of a like easy build champion. Feels like there's a few and further between those lately.
Definitely. Yeah, that's a good shout, man. Look, cool. I'm going to come up with another one then. Probably steering away from Doom Tower here, and we're just going to go for someone who's just continuously been rising up the ranks. It's a Void champion, Maneater. Now, Maneater makes a mockery of Clan Boss, especially if you've got 2, or if you've got 1 and a Painkeeper, then Clan Boss is a joke. You can literally go in, you do Nightmare Clan Boss, no problem. Most people should, if they've got those champions, do Ultra Nightmare in like 3 or 4 keys, as long as you've got somebody else that can lay some poisons, right? And you've got an idea of how to speed tune them. Yeah, it's just and the funny thing is, his kit's actually brilliant. Like outside of the unkillable stuff, yeah, he's also just generally great. But people probably don't see that as much now because he's just solely used in these kind of unkillable setups where you're trying to punch as much damage as you can in that kind of 50-turn period. But he also steals turn meter from an enemy. He's got an AoE decrease attack, which is 100% chance to land if you crit. He's a super good champion, and I just feel like, well, I actually did a poll on my channel on my stream, and I threw out there, who's your most desirable champion that you'd like to pull in a shard? And I asked the viewers, I said, look, basis is on, you're like a mid-game player, but you've just got yourself a bunch of rares. You don't really have any of the big hitters. And I gave them the choice of Draco, Maneater, Madame Cerise, Trunder, and Ethos, I think. And Maneater got like over 60% of the vote.
What? Oh my word, man. That's surprising to me. I mean, I agree with you, and I agree with them to a large extent, but over Draco?
But you can still just, with Clan Boss, you get rewards every day, and you get good rewards. It's your best chance to get books, your best chance to get shards. Where else can you get books on a daily basis?
I was going to say the only way to get legendary books in sacred shards, other than whatever quest or whatever.
Yeah. So a Draco won't do that for you. A Draco can help you everywhere in the game, to be fair, but a Maneater is literally like the open door to an easy Clan Boss if you've got a couple of books to get him going and the right components to sit with him. But I do get where they're coming from. I feel like, I don't know, is it overpowered? I'm not sure. I mean, I don't think they're going to change it anytime soon. But
Hades, don't say anything. Don't say anything.
But still, like crazy value out of this guy. So I feel like he was already really good, and people wanted him. But as more and more of the kind of super brains of the community keep coming out with different comps, I've seen comps where actually you just need Maneater, but you need him super fast, and he can do it on his own. I've seen some really interesting setups with this guy now. Using much cheaper components to set up unkillable teams. And once you've got the unkillable team, you know that all you need to do is ply the poison for 50 turns and you're going to get your numbers.
Yeah, you're good. It's hard to argue with that, man. It's hard to argue with that. And I agree with you, too, about the rest of his kit, having the AoE decrease attack, big version of it on his A1, and then the full turn meter steal on a 3-turn cooldown on the Siphon. That is, he's bringing a lot to the table, other than just what we're all used to on his ancient.
I did actually get him on my free to play. I ended up giving the free to play away because I pulled Maneater, I pulled a Draco, and it's just like the game's over. The game is done.
Yeah, right. There you go.
Congratulations whoever got that account.
It didn't feel very free to play anymore. Yeah. I ran into the same issue. I did a free to play series, and I'm just like, after I pulled a legendary and a few epics, you're just like, I feel wrong even saying free to play series episode, whatever.
Yeah, definitely,
it doesn't feel very free to play, but good on you for giving away though. That's cool.
Okay, what we got next?
All right. Yeah, so this is my last champion.
Your last
already.
one, yeah.
Man, I wanted to go. I had Seer written down because how can we not include Seer? I feel like just because not the bosses necessarily, but in terms of a floor nuker. I mean, what makes her so amazing is not just the fact that she can like one shot everybody like an absolute terror,
Yeah,
but also removing all the buffs. There's so many strong buffers you have to contend with on these waves, especially the further you go up on Doom Tower, whether it's
definitely.
normal or hard. So I feel like just that fact that she's also removing all buffs before she nukes and the same ability. Granted, she's stripping away your whole team's buff too, but if you can build a team around her, I think that Seer is really second to none in terms of a wave nuker. And I'm gonna cheat and because the other champion I had written down is also Dark Elhain. I'm just a huge fan of her. I'm not sure if you like her, but I'm a huge fan of her. Another daily log and reward champion, and just her passive and freeze to me, like automatically triggering Death's Majesty is just something that I feel like is really, really useful for the Frostbiter, for Ice Golem as well. And it kind of allows you to get away with putting her in attack percentage boots instead of speed, because she's already nuking kind of automatically anytime any ally gets frozen anyway, so you can get an extra kind of bang for your buck off of her DPS that way. So I'm cheating, including two nukers as my last champion.
Well, just on the Seer comment,
yeah,
I mean, Seer, the good thing about Seer is you actually don't need to build her that crazy strong, and she's still, if you've got the right team around her, she just blows up the whole wave, and I don't think there's a better champion in the game, including all legendary champions at clearing waves. So I totally get it, but she was already high value. Dark Elhain actually didn't even cross my mind, and it's almost like a sacrilege. I do not have her built. And I see so many cool videos. I saw your video. I've seen Stu's videos on her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this champion is cool. And she's totally relevant now. And for some reason, I've got one like waiting in the wings. And I keep thinking, I need to do that. And I just haven't done it. So I'm going to have to get on and do that video. But
yeah, try it out. Try it out. She's really, I feel like, again, it goes back to that whole free thing where, it's a free champion. But I feel like she's one of the cooler. I would put like her and Grush and Scyl in like a category of their own. Maybe High Katoon as well.
High Katoon as well. Yeah.
And she could easily be on this list as well. But anyway, those are my two champions. Try her out. I run her in, like I said, attack percentage boots, and I run her in reflex as well, because she only has one active ability. And you can just start rattling off a bunch of Death Majesties in a row and just do some serious damage.
Nice, because she actually nukes hard, doesn't she? She nukes pretty similar to like a Skull Crown or any of those
yes, very comparable, very comparable. Yeah, you can run her as like your main nuker, end game, for those against freeze, especially. You just got to be careful because she can put out so much damage, especially against Ice Golem, that sometimes like, wow, you have to deal with those auto attacks by the Ice Golem pretty frequently. But I think she's a really cool champion.
That's a really good shout there, man. Yeah. Okay, well let's hit my last one then. So I'm going to pull out a champion. And I just see him, I watch a lot of other people's videos. I see him in a lot of content. And it's almost like, I'm soloing something with this dude. This guy's coming into my clan boss team now. This guy's in this. And it's like, this dude has just risen through the ranks. He was sitting in people's vaults, and now he's not. Vergis. And again, like only two abilities or only one ability that's got any kind of cooldown on it. He's just a team protector. He's got good shield mechanics. He can go and solo the Scarab King. It's a long old fight, but he does it pretty effectively. He's got great base stats, high defense. All of his damage is based from defense as well. I just feel like, out of nowhere, he's just on everyone's radar.
Yeah. I mean, he got that buff, I don't know, a year ago, I guess. And I feel like it went under the radar. People were just like, okay, interesting, but he was never really used until, to your point, when Doom Tower came out, and now I feel like everybody is all about him. Rightfully so. How do you build him? I mean, he's another easy champion to build.
Yeah.
What do you put him in terms of artifact sets?
Well, I've got mine actually just in a big shield set, because I've got him running in the Scarab King. But I think like because he's only got support, he's got like a 1-turn cooldown on his A2, so if you book it out, which is basically nothing. So, it's just a case of keeping him alive. I think I've seen people running him actually in regen gear as well, pretty effectively.
Actually a really good idea. No one ever talks about regen sets. So I love finding uses for like unpopular artifact sets. That's a cool idea.
Especially since it was buffed. It's actually pretty damn strong. Certainly in Doom Tower stuff as well. Yeah.
I put him in destroy just for the just to solo.
Oh, really? Yeah, yeah. That makes
it's not
sense.
ideal.
Yeah.
It's not ideal, but like, yeah, I think that shield is probably the way to go because he's like the ultimate support champion. And yeah, man, I really like this champion. He's not on any of my main teams, but if I'm ever struggling with something or if I forgot who my team was, that's what they need. Another thing they need to add is like a saved team option.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I'm like, who did I use on this boss or whatever? But then I'll slide him in there and be like, I know I'll be all right with Vergis. So there we go.
I mean, the ally protection as well. He becomes such a unit, doesn't he? Puts ally protection out there, increases his own defense. He's just
and the aura too.
Buffs,
for dungeons, not for Doom Tower, but defense and 33% in dungeons, really solid.
Perfect. Look, man, it's been really cool just kind of chatting through some of these champs and getting your own view.
Likewise.
Look, thanks for coming on the channel, buddy. As I said right at the start, I'm going to ping all of Ash's info. His Twitter. What else have you got, man? Your YouTube.
Stuff. Yeah, it'll be down there. It'll be down there.
We're going to pin all of that stuff, and I'll also just link to the other video which we did together on his channel. Go and check it out, guys. It was a very different type of topic to this. Bit more gritty, bit more dirty, but definitely on a lot of people's minds. So, Ash, thanks for coming on, man.
Hey, it's my pleasure, Hades. Thanks so much for having me, man.
All right, guys, that's going to be a wrap. I will catch you later.